Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we are going to be draining and flushing our hot water heater, and we're doing this on the same day that we're winterizing just because it's kind of a companion thing. And so our first tip, which we mentioned in the other video, is choose a day when it's not in the 30s or 10s or 20s or whatever it may be where you are. You need it to be above freezing, and it is, but we're going to be below freezing shortly, so we need to get this done. Some things that you're gonna need, and one is this this thing. Some things you're gonna need that are gonna be handy. The first year we did this, we did not have this piece, and let me just tell you, it was
slow going.
Well, and we got very, very wet.
Yes.
This is very helpful to get up in there and rinse out, and you're gonna be amazed at all the gunk that comes out. But one of the main reasons you do this is to get rid of that corrosion every year and to check your anode rod. Anode rods are made to be self-sacrificing because you're getting all kinds of different water at different campsites.
Chemicals and stuff in the water.
And so this is designed to be a softer metal than the metal that's on the inside of the hot water heater, so that when those things attach to something and eat away at it, that they're eating away at the anode rod and not the lining of your hot water heater. So
Do these vary in sizes?
yeah, you want to know what your anode rod is before you start this, so that you'll know. And when you take the other one out, you can check and see. But most of these are going to be somewhat standard. So you need to know what size there is, because there are different lengths depending on your hot water heater. So check your hot water heater, and you can simply put in what style, what model number you have, not style, what model number you have, and get with that. But your hot water heater, the outside looks basically like this. And so you take this, there's a little thing here that twists, and then you simply lift this panel off, set it aside. And to drain this, there is a release valve here, and then taking the anode rod out is actually where it's going to drain. Now, something I suggest that you do at this point, and that is take a picture of how far out the anode rod is, because it does not screw all the way in, and if you try to do that, you're going to be really frustrated. So there are a couple of shortcuts and tips that I'm going to show you here that hopefully will help make this a little bit easier. But here's our release valve up here. We're going to release that in just a second. But I want you to see, as closely as I can get, see, this has quite a little bit of distance. This is only in there 3 or 4 little twists. So don't think you're going to get this put all the way back in. Now, you want to make sure the gas is turned off, because this is what runs your gas hot water heater. Okay, you'll notice it right underneath here, there's just a little nut that's holding this pipe in place. So all I'm going to do is loosen that little nut, and then I'm going to be able to pull that pipe out of the way, and it's going to make it a lot easier to access that anode rod. So simply, here's the little nut. We're going to need to put that aside, because when water starts coming out here, we don't want to lose that. So I'm going to set that inside where it's nice and safe. It does fit nicely on there. And then we simply lift that up. You hold this where they can see. Lift that where that little there we go. And I can now gently pull this kind of back, and lifting that up just a little bit is going to help get it out of the way where I can access this. If I need to pull it up more, I can. Now, I don't have a piece that actually fits this, so I'm going to need to put this in here, and I need to get a screwdriver to twist it with. Okay, now hopefully this is going to, there we go. And I'm going to get back here in just a second, because it is starting to come out. And okay, our anode rod is doing exactly what it's supposed to. It's dissolving. Now I'm going to let that drain. open that valve so that it starts releasing. And we're now draining our hot water heater. And as you can see, this anode rod is going to be fine for another year, but it is doing what it's supposed to. It's being eaten away. And so that's what a 1-year anode rod should look like. Okay, our hot water heater has finished draining, and on the driveway you might be able to see a little bit of the white stuff that has come out of the hot water heater, but there's a little bit here. You're going to be amazed. I'm going to try and do this. Well, you can see some that's deposited right here as it's been coming out. Maybe you can see that. I don't know that I got it where you could, but there's going to be a bunch of gunk that comes out, and so you want to keep flushing this, but we also want to keep the camera dry, so we're going to do our best to get that done. But this little wand is well worth it. This is simply an on-off. When it's this way, the water's not coming through. When it's this way, the water is. But this will actually get up inside of the hot water heater so that you're not getting sprayed as much. I'll try my best not to get sprayed, but okay, that is just disgusting, the stuff that comes out. And what I usually do is put a bunch in there and then shred it. Oh, there went a big chunk. You may be able to see parts of those things that are going down. Then there's a bunch that's built up underneath there. So the hot water heater really does need to be flushed, because those parts from the anode rod and then any chemical deposits from the water, it's just nasty. See if I can zoom in on that a little bit. This is some of the stuff that has come out of this hot water heater. So it is something that does need to be done. We do it annually. Gosh, that's built up a bunch there. As much as we're gone, it might not hurt us to do this twice a year, but this is when we get it done. Okay, one other thing I'm going to do, and that is this deposit that's around here. It's from some of it may be from water, some of it's probably from the plumber's tape from last year. And so while you're doing this, go on and get as much of that stuff scraped off as you can so that you got a nice clean, as clean as you can get. Getting this stuff scraped off while you're going. Okay, once this starts running really clear and you're not getting any more of these big chunks, or it looks like smaller stuff as well, once it looks like it's running really clear, then this process is done. And to reverse this process when you're getting ready to set up for the spring, we're going to go on and shut that relief valve. And at this point, if you're going to place a new anode rod in, then put a little plumber's tape around it and get it started. I'm probably going to go on and put that anode rod back in. We know that it's got at least another year on it. They can be eaten down quite a bit more than that. I'm going to scrape all that plumber's tape off, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, one thing I didn't mention at the beginning of this video, and that is I'm winterizing. I may have mentioned that part, but I've already bypassed the hot water heater. So I did that before we got started. And now this anode rod, once again, these do not have to be replaced every year, but it is good to go in and take them out, look at them, inspect them, and make sure that you still have plenty of life left on your anode rod. And once again, this one has been eaten away at, but it still has plenty more to sacrifice. So I'm now putting a little plumber's tape on here. I don't need quite that much. I'm going to tear that off, and I'm going to reinsert this. I have turned off this relief valve. I've turned that back off. Put this back in there and get it started. And once again, I've got that image of how far out it was so that I'll know it doesn't need to go all the way back in. And then I'll simply place this gas line back where it goes. And okay, I'm just going to go and tell you a hint here. I wasn't getting any traction here, so I just stuffed a paper towel in there to get some traction, and that got it started good. So now we'll just go on and get that tightened in there. And in the spring when you come out and you're going on your first trip, you are going to want to make sure that you have this in there securely and that it's not leaking any. So take our first trip next year, and let me show you, got that in just about as far as it was when we took it out, so it doesn't go all the way in. Don't worry about that.
Be sure to leave the electricity off while the hot water heater is empty, because if you turn the electricity on when there's no water in there, you will burn out the heating element.
Once again, this is one of those things that if you carry your RV in to have them flush your hot water heater, replace your anode rod, you're looking at a service charge, and I think those start around $79. And so hopefully this is something that can save you a little money.
I want to ask you a question because some of our viewers, right? When do you hook this part, the gas part?
Oh, I'm doing that right now.
Okay, I didn't.
We have it now connected, ready, so that whenever we turn the bypass back on, it's ready to fill up. We'll check and make sure that that's in there good, and
Spring break, here we come.
and we are ready for that first trip of the spring. So hope this has helped you, save you some money, and
Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.